What's up, and welcome to episode 251 of First Geek 411. We're back in 2024, and with me, as always, from West Coast, Best Coast, Emma, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. It's a new year. It's 2024. Life is good. Cannot complain.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. This
How
week,
about you?
I'm good, like, we're vibing, like,
Cameron, how are you?
think, I don't know, potential, snow soonish here in Dallas, there was a chance of snow tomorrow. That has thankfully no longer been the case. But next week is supposed to be down into the teens. So
You say thankfully, but it
yeah,
would mean a work from home day.
right. I mean, any excuse for a work from home day. But yeah,
Knowing the infrastructure there.
yeah, basically any excuse to not be on the roads in any sort of weather is greatly appreciated. And so, other than that, we got a whole bunch to catch up on. And
Yep.
so, for this week's episode, we're going to kind of have a prolonged what we've been up to segment, just since it's been 4 weeks, 3 weeks. I think 3 weeks since
Three-ish
since we did
weeks.
an episode. So we have a lot that we have been up to. And then when it comes to news, we got Avatar The Last Airbender, Netflix MCU, Good Omens, and The Last of Us. And so, oh, and then we also have a big announcement for the end about book
Yeah.
club. And so this is why I put it in the notes so that I would remember. But before we get into what we've been up to, as always, you can find us on our social media as OneGeek411. Join our Discord server. Shoot us an email at 1stgeek411 at gmail.com. You can watch live on Twitch Monday nights around 6:45 Mountain Time and find the videos over on our YouTube. You can also go and check out our Redbubble store for that merch. Emma, what have you been up to on these weeks that we have been away?
So many things. It's been a holiday and a half. It's actually been two holidays.
Yeah.
Christmas and New Year's. You know, as one does over this time of year. Um, Christmas spent with my family in Colorado and my nephew, who's now 11 months old, um, who just this week has started walking. It's
Oh,
very
nice.
exciting. Like, started walking as in, like, he's still very wobbly,
Yeah.
but he's
As you do.
he's taken his first steps on his own, which is great and exciting. Um, so that's been fun to see that evolve over the past month ish, basically. And did a lot of fun things in Colorado related to snow. Um, Speaking of which,
Yeah.
Cameron,
I think I saw that
um,
you went skiing at a couple
I
times.
didn't go skiing, but went out in the snow
Oh, okay.
and went out on a frozen lake and chopped down a Christmas tree in the
Oh, fancy.
snow up in the mountains, um, in a forest. It was very fun. Played some Pathfinder with gaming on a hill. It was very fun
Mm-hmm.
with Cameron and a few other people. Very delightful. It was nice to be back to playing some kind of TTRPG
Yeah,
because
it has
I
been a hot minute since we had a chance to
literally
play.
have not played since the last time we played um, Pathfinder with that group. So especially since I'm now done with school, I would love to find an in-person campaign that's actually running to play again. Started learning crochet literally
Ooh,
yesterday because I
nice.
was bored.
Yep. You do what you got to do.
So, you know, it's just something you do when you're bored. And me, you're like, I have the things. I am going to learn a new skill. Um, so yeah, it's a little iffy for listeners who are not viewers. It is the thing I have is very sketchy and together, but not coherent.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's a fun thing to do while I'm watching TV. Um, and then Oh, Christmas. I've been playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I got it for $10. That and
Best Assassin's Creed.
Rogue. It was Black Flag and another one that came in a bundle that was like $14, and then I got an additional like $4 off with my points. And I have been loving it, having lots of fun being a pirate. So much fun.
So good.
It's so fun. And then I got a couple of Moomin Troll mugs for Christmas, which has been very
Nice.
fun. I mention it mostly because I forced this group to read a Moomin Troll book with
We
me.
can put our hands up so that we can find this
Our little
later
thing.
for Moomin Trolls.
So I mention it because it relates to podcast, kind of. This one is Mimble, who's the big sister of Little Mai. And my family likes to collect these mugs. They're great little tea mugs.
Nice.
And they have a bunch of fun little designs. So I got like 4 or 5 for Christmas. So that's like my little like. These are my favorite things that I got for Christmas because they're so special and they have a family connection.
Nice.
So, yeah. Cameron, what have you been up to?
So, as you mentioned, played some Pathfinder. Not to be a spoiler or anything, but I don't know if you noticed, but I did literally nothing in that session. Of like, I mean, I did a little bit. We did some like running around and stuff, but like we got it when we get into combat. I literally do nothing. And so that's just something for the listeners to wait for.
I don't think I actually noticed that.
Yeah, and so.
Would you really even consider it combat, though?
Combat occurred, and so...
Oh, you're right. I was thinking more the thing that happens in the first half of the session.
Yeah.
Which I was like, I'm pretty sure I remember you doing stuff.
Yeah, for like the whole second half, I did nothing. And so, again,
also,
put that teaser out for other people.
Speaking of which, I'm going to say this in very general terms to avoid spoilers, but I discovered when we leveled up after the session that there is a feat that I could take on, which I have taken on, that plays into a character trait of Kerpley that I didn't know played into a character trait of Kerpley when I first started doing it as a joke. So I've taken it on as a feat to use because it's just so funny that I was like, I can't not take this on. So I'm excited to actually like pull it out of my back pocket.
Yeah, I currently have some feats that are like my placeholders. I'm not like locking anything in until we actually do the next session, but and yeah, we'll see. I got some cool stuff coming out for Ezek as well. Yeah, I'm excited. And then in the realm of TTRPGs, I also ran a honey heist for my family for Christmas. And so
how'd that go?
It went well. Like my brother-in-law and then my sister-in-law's husband have both done TTRPG stuff before. Obviously, Deanna has as well. But for the rest of the family, it was a little bit new. And so we just kind of had like a very loose gotta save Christmas RPG and kind of toned down a little bit of the rules for the honey heist. There's a little bit of the assumption that people are familiar with RPGs. So like, oh, one second. So we actually just like decided everyone's bear for them instead of having them roll to create them. And Deanna found these pictures of various bears that we used. And so it was a lot of fun with that. And if nothing else, I just hope it was kind of a good introduction to the world of TTRPGs that the rest of the family can and did enjoy. Then the world of TV shows, we started watching Smigadoon, which is on Apple Plus, and it's about a couple that's like having trouble with their relationship, and then they end up inside of a musical. And so it's very fun. I've been enjoying it. We were in season 2. I think we're like 2 episodes or 3 episodes into season 2. Highly recommend. It's very fun. It's very meta. Like the main characters understand that they are in a musical and
I've seen little TikTok clips of this. Okay.
Yeah, it's I definitely recommend it. It's like
you said it was an Apple.
Yeah, it's an Apple Plus. And then again, I enjoy that it's meta. So like there's a lot of jokes about, wait, don't say that because that will trigger a song, or
yeah,
like, wait, if this is a musical, that means that we need to do this because this is what would solve the problem in a musical. And so there's a lot of fun stuff there. And then we also went and saw Wonka with Timothée Chalamet as Wonka. It was very fun.
Also a musical.
Yeah, also a musical. It turns out just like the original. And so there's a good amount of fun. I have never been so hyped for the Oompa Loompa theme. I gotta tell you, I popped off when the Oompa Loompa theme started. I was so excited. It was, again, it had no right like going as hard as it did, but I was just like ready to go. I never realized I was like a true Oompa Loompa fan until it started in this movie.
There you go.
So then from there, lots of stuff in the world of video games. Over on Cameron plus Deanna, I ranked all 50 of the games that I played in 2023. Around 30 minutes in, I make a comment of, I need to hurry up because we're only 30 minutes in, or already 30 minutes in, and I was only through like 8 games.
Oof.
And so for context of what that meant, we went for like 2 hours and 45 minutes of me talking through all of the games that I played. So decisions were made, and it was a fun conversation, I think. It had some good feedback from chat and stuff like that. But man, lots of games to get through. And then I also started and platinumed Strangers in Paradise Final Fantasy Origin, which is like a loose like retelling prequel of Final Fantasy 1. And so I'm curious if you would like it, because I know one of the things for you with Final Fantasy 16 was like how much cutscene there was.
Yeah.
And so there's definitely a lot less of that in this one.
I don't mind lots of cutscenes. I just mind when they're like 10 minutes long. And then I get like 10 minutes of playtime and another 10-minute cutscene.
Yeah. You know.
And it's like, I enjoy a 10-minute cutscene when I get like 40 minutes of playtime in between 10-minute cutscenes. But like,
you know,
when it's 10 minutes and 10 minutes, then it's like, eh.
Yeah.
I play video games to play video games, not watch a movie.
Yeah. And I will say Strangers in Paradise is one of like the most video games that's ever video gamed. Of like, there's lots of numbers go up. There's a lot of punch, stab, slash, cast magic at the bad guys. And
Strangers in
Paradise. I will say it's very clear that they did not love that game as much as they loved Final Fantasy 16, because you can definitely tell in the character animations the radical difference between the two. And and the difference between that and the next thing that I've played, which is I started the Final Fantasy VII Remake Intermission DLC, which is a side story like that came out when they ported the game or like up-resed the game to PS5. And it's like it's a side story that takes place with a separate character while the main plot is going on. And so I started that, and again, very clear which one of these is Square Enix's baby and which one is not. Because Final Fantasy VII, beautiful. Strangers in Paradise, those are indeed CG faces. So But I enjoyed the time that I had with Remake. I'm so excited to be back, and we're going to see where it goes. And then also in the world of video games, I have been playing a ton of Pokemon Violet. I'm back with the DLC. We're catching stuff, having a lot of fun with that.
Are you
Catching
catching them all?
That is the goal. I am working towards it. I need to go back and catch them all for the legendaries that they added to the game. Because I think we also have some DLC dropping this week for like the final epilogue or something for the story. And so I need to go and I'll play through that. Apparently it's like about an hour of story to cap it off. And so I'm excited to go in and play that. And then
Gotta finish chasing after Team Rocket.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Team Rocket has been blasting off again. And so although they're not in this game, unfortunately.
Whatever the gang of the region is.
Yeah. Team Star, I think is what it is in this one.
Yeah.
And so
who are not
regionally
bad guys. The regionally distinct.
Yeah. Similar but legally distinct. Yeah.
Yep.
And so
as is every other Pokemon game.
As is the right of every region to have a mob team that is trying to do something.
Yep. So, nefarious. Something nefarious. Often involving a legendary Pokemon.
Yes. Although not necessarily.
Not always.
This one. Yeah.
But often.
Yeah.
Or stealing other people's Pokemon.
You gotta get the Slowpoke tail somewhere. So.
Yep.
Then finally, and the reason that we're not going to have images for tonight's podcast, we're going to just have our first Geek logo, is I have been playing Teamfight Tactics. I kind of wanted to play League of Legends again. I've just had that itch recently because it's been a long time since I played it. And Teamfight Tactics has kind of been a fun, I don't actually have to play with a team, but I can be with those characters and have fun. And there's a little bit of strategy. Well, there's a lot of strategy, but there's strategy to it because it's an auto battler. And so you're trying to pick what units you want and do all of that kind of stuff. And so been playing through that. Very bad at it. Have not won anything, but we're doing okay. And it's definitely the game that I feel like I'm doing really well until I just get crushed 5 games in a row. Or 5 battles in a row. And it's well, maybe I'm not. So, but it has become my latest video game rabbit hole where I'm watching strategy videos and stuff like that. And so
there you go.
But yeah, that is what we have been up to over this time away. What listeners, viewers, watchers, whatever, let us know what you've been up to. If you're hanging out in chat, we'll talk about it over in the post show. Or leave a comment in the YouTube description, in the YouTube comment section. And we'd love to hear what you've been up to. How was your Christmas? How were your holidays? Whether you celebrate or whichever you celebrate. Hope things went well. With that, Emma, let's jump into our news for the week. What do you got for us?
Just for the fun of it, I figured I should mention that over the past couple of weeks, we've been getting some photos of our delightful characters from the live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender, the only live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah, there is no movie in Ba Sing Se.
There is no movie in Ba Sing Se. And most recently, we got a nice close-up of Aang. And things are so far looking... clarification and emphasis on the looking.
Key emphasis on looking.
Yeah. To be pretty close to the series, the animated series, in terms of costumes and look and everything, which is great in my opinion. Couple of great people on the team, in terms of creative, costumers and people who have worked on things like Sleepy Hollow, which I mentioned because that's a book that we have read. But I'm excited. I'm not as big an Avatar person as you are, Cameron. So based on the photos you have seen of some of the characters throughout the internet, which I presume you have seen, knowing the circles you exist on, what are your thoughts so far?
I'm ready to be hurt again. Like, I am so excited for this. I have not reached like the level of hype that I was for the Last of Us series by any means, but I am very tentatively excited for this. And it, as you said, it all looks really good. The costume design looks excellent. Everything that we've seen for casting seems like they actually know what they're doing. Shots fired. And so I'm just very
Unlike the
hopeful.
movie that does not exist in Ba
Yeah.
Sing Se.
Yeah, this seems like a project where they would know how to pronounce the main character's name. And so I really hope that we have that as a low bar to clear for this fandom. Like, please, and please don't have the main character get introduced like 45 minutes or introduce themselves 45 minutes into your movie after they've been traveling with people for presumably weeks or at least days. So, like, maybe he should have told them his name before then. Just a thought. But,
Just maybe.
yeah. Generally, reserving judgment until we see it in motion.
Yep.
Because, like, there was a lot in the hypothetical design for a movie that looked relatively cool. Like, definitely a lot of problems, but there was some very cool stuff. And then you see it in motion. It's so funny because I literally saw people making fun of it this week, or like this past week, of like, here's a bunch of people earthbending a rock that they could have just thrown. And just like, man, like until we see it in motion, I'm just so scared that we're going to have something like that happen again.
Yeah.
And again, I want to believe, and I'm definitely ready. I'm definitely going to be crushed if this is not fantastic. But that being said, I also don't have Netflix. So, I guess I'm going to have to get Netflix so that I can watch this.
Yep.
But,
totally valid. We've been hurt once. Yeah. And by we, I mean mostly you guys.
Yeah.
Because I never even watched it.
Yeah. Mostly not you. And so.
Mostly not me, but I sympathize.
Yeah, you understand the pain.
Being a Percy Jackson kid, my time has come to have my faith renewed in the system.
Yeah, that's
which
something
is that's also something that I did over the break is start watching the Percy Jackson series.
So we've been watching as well. What do you think? Not like let's sidetrack this into what we've been back to what we've been up to. But
I mean, I will just say, when the movie came out, I was in middle school. Completely devastated me.
Oh.
I was not a Harry Potter kid. I was a Percy Jackson kid. And the movies came out. Like, I devoured the books. Yeah. Movie came out. It was the first time I had ever been disappointed by an adaptation.
Oh, no.
Yeah, straight up. And so now the series is coming out on Disney Plus, and it is restoring my faith in adaptations. Slowly, but it's doing a really good job at sticking true to the books. So definitely geared much more towards kids than like, people who grew up reading the books, which makes sense. But still, I'm like, I appreciate that they're doing the books justice. So yeah, that's the little sidetrack there.
I'll say I'm much less invested. 1 second, I have to ban this bot.
Bots.
I'm much
ban
less,
the bot.
I'm much less invested in it as a fandom, but it just in the sense of like we've done like one of the audiobooks, and that's kind of it for me. Like we and so like I enjoyed the first book as the audiobook, and through my local library I'll hopefully pick up the other ones. I want to wait till the season finishes before I do that, just because I know the story, but I don't really want to be reminded of what happened, just because I don't necessarily remember everything, so I want to be surprised. And so but I'm very much enjoying it so far. It seems like it's understandably cheesy in certain places,
Yeah,
but that's
of
not
course.
intrinsically bad. Like,
No.
and I like how they handled a lot of the mixing mythology with the real world and stuff like that
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm enjoying it for it, like, really staying true to the books and giving the heart of the books, like, what they deserve. As someone who, again, devoured the books in elementary and middle school over and over, like, I still have my copy of the series in some box in Colorado, and I'm pretty sure, like, all the 5 or 6 books are just completely falling apart from how many times I read them growing up. So yeah, um, that's that on Avatar: The Last Airbender and Percy Jackson, um, which wasn't even on the list, but hey, it comes
Hey,
up.
we're here.
You know, it's related somehow. Um, Speaking of adaptations, in case anyone thought otherwise, the MCU shows that were Netflix shows that are now maybe no longer Netflix shows, unclear, are in fact canon in the MCU. It has been confirmed by, let me actually get this opened up. Um, it has been confirmed by executive producer Brad Winderbaum, um, that those shows are 100% part of the MCU timeline, specifically the original Daredevil series. Um, so it sounds like it's a little less clear for things like Iron Fist, but um, at least generally Netflix MCU shows are indeed canon in MCU, because I do know there has been some minor discourse on the interwebs that they are not potentially, and it's potentially a DCU scenario. It is not.
Yeah.
Um,
It was in the like it was really unclear because they just wouldn't say anything. Because
yep,
like, and even like Agents of Shield kind of falls into this as well,
yeah,
where it's like, or Runaways as another one of like these shows take place within the Marvel universe, but is that actually like MCU sacred timeline? Because that phrase means something now. And
yep,
so, is it sacred timeline or is this a spin-off like universe of, in this one there's a Daredevil, and so like the battle in New
and in
York
that
still
one there
happens,
isn't.
but because like so many of the shows never crossed back into the rest of the MCU, they were kind of like self-contained canon.
Yeah.
So now that we're seeing stuff like this, and also as of recording tomorrow, all of Echo is dropping. It's
Mm-hmm.
like 5 episodes, I think, that are all dropping tomorrow as like as the latest MCU show, and so excited for what that's gonna be. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited. I'm excited that this is confirmed. Like this is just the like, hey, we just need y'all to tell us what's going on.
Yeah. So you heard it here, along with the dog, who just went running by. Uh, Netflix MCU shows confirmed canon, part of MCU. Good to know. Thanks for the update. We like knowing that kind of thing. And last, but certainly not least, on my end, whether I have or have not mentioned this before, I will mention it again and again and shout it from the rooftops. Good Omens Season 3 is actually confirmed. We are actually getting Season 3, which is so great, and I'm so excited. Cannot wait. Whether or not I work on it, I don't care. I mean, I do care. I would love to
Yeah,
work on it.
I say I do
But
care.
like, even if I don't get to, I am just glad that we're officially getting a Season 3, because that means we get an end to the chaos that is Aziraphale and Crowley and Nina and all of them just living their lives as chaos people.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah. And I'll say, like, there for me, the biggest thing is we get a chance for the storytellers to wrap up their story. I
Yep.
think that's the biggest thing, especially with us coming out of the strikes, is a lot of shows didn't make it. And that means that for those shows that were not intended to end where they ended, How I Met Your Father is an example, which I'm much less heartbroken about not getting a third season than I would have been for Good Omens. But that show ends kind of on a big cliffhanger. And that's just how it's over because it was not renewed through the strikes. And so I definitely am happy to see that we can have some sort of conclusion here for this plot and for these characters. On top of the fact that they're just good shows. And I'm just excited to have more of it because I like them. So,
yeah. And it's like, because Neil Gaiman has said in various places in the past that if season 3 is not renewed, then he would get the storyline planned plot for season 3 to us, the fans, in a different format. Because he does technically have the right to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that the state that we're getting it in is in fact the state in which he wanted to get it to us in. So I'm looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm. Then for me, kind of got a 1.5 piece of news as we take a look at The Last of Us. Oh, and I have this is a picture for the game, but it's what I had preloaded into the thing. So that's what we're using. And so, because I apparently undid my Good Omens 3 foolishly, because I had a picture of that I just kept in there for a while, but I apparently undid it. And so in the world of The Last of Us, first off, shout out to the cast and crew for The Last of Us bringing home 8 Emmys at this year's awards. Oscars also just happened, not intentionally not talking about that. No, Golden Globes. Sorry, Golden Globes.
I was going to say,
not Oscars. And so
Last of Us wouldn't have been nominated for any Oscars.
Yeah,
that's not how this
like,
works.
Yeah. Just like in terms of award shows.
I'm not sure you understand how award season works, Cameron.
I mean, admittedly, I do not, and it always really confuses me. And so.
But I can tell you for certain that The Last of Us getting an Oscar would be highly unusual.
Hey, let's do it anyway. Like, it was great. Put it up for those as well. And
we're just going to change the entire format of The Last of Us. It's no longer a TV show. It's now an 8-hour-long movie.
I mean, if you watch them all in one sitting, is that not just the Lord of the Rings extended edition?
To us,
so
you're right. To them, you're wrong.
And so, this is why I should be in charge of TV/movies, and so
this is why you should just be in charge. Period.
Yeah, when I'm elected president of TV/movie/video games, The Last of Us will be nominated for every
visual
award.
Entertainment.
Yeah, every award it is nominated for, regardless. Best comedy/musical. Yep, it's there.
Everything like everything that wins every category is based entirely on your bias alone.
You know, I'm not saying I won't do it. So, but The Last of Us, like I said, did bring home 8 Emmys for a Best Guest Actor and Guest Actress for Storm and Nick. Best sound mixing, sound editing, picture editing, main title design, prosthetic makeup, and special visual effects. And so
I do have to say the sound design was to die for. In general with the show, like that especially, I guessed would get an award.
Yeah, it was so good.
Like it gave me the same shivers that the game gave me when playing it for the first time. With like there's so much that you can play with there, in terms of sound that they did, and they really leaned into, like, especially with the clickers, like,
Yeah.
they really played into and understood the assignment of what makes the clickers terrifying, and that is the sound.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, and I think even magnified with winning best prosthetic makeup, like with so
yeah,
much of that being practical, not
yeah,
CG, and so very much embracing the medium. And like obviously you can have great actors act against something that they know will be CG'd later, but like I do feel like having that sound design magnified by on-set prosthetics, magnified
yeah,
by fantastic acting team and like set
yeah,
design, and just again so much awesome stuff that I'm just so happy that it is getting its kudos.
yeah.
And so especially as we should be starting filming of season 2 relatively soon. And so
Yes,
I believe that they have said early 2024 is when they would start filming. And so, but
that's exciting.
we might be getting even more Last of Us on HBO because, according to one Nick Offerman, a prequel show about Frank and Bill has been pitched to HBO. And
A
so that this would, um, it would be a prequel leading up to presumably the time when they first meet, as we, I guess, minor spoilers, see in the show when they first meet each other. And so,
only minor spoilers
yeah, I
there.
mean, the characters that are in the game indeed know each other. Wow.
Yeah,
And so,
shocker.
and so the idea of this pitch would be that it would lead into that sort of meeting. And yeah, it would be very interesting IMO because we would get to see a lot of the outside world from Frank's view. Then we get to see more Nick Offerman just being awesome as Bill
Yes,
and wrecking clickers and wrecking like bandits and stuff like that.
I would love
And so,
to see that so much.
and so I, yeah, I really hope that this ends up being a thing, partially because I just want more The Last of Us. I just want that in my
We just
life
want
all of
more
the time.
all together.
Yeah.
You and
Especially
me
as we
both.
go into The Last of Us Part 2 remaster later this month. And
Yes.
so we'll be returning to that world. I need to talk to you about something that they showed off today in the post-show chat for that,
Yes.
because I need to go find the tweet and send it to you. But I am so excited. Again, I just want more. I cannot and will continue to speak extremely highly of this show. I cannot stop.
Agreed.
There we go. And will continue to speak highly of this
Cannot, will not.
show. And so I need this in my life. And so give me more Pedro. Give me more like Bella.
Bella.
Like, I'm so excited for this whole thing. And like I just want more of this in my life. And so, especially because this gives us the opportunity for more world building for wherever Frank has
Yes.
been, because we
Yes.
only see relatively few cities.
Yeah.
And so like we see Boston, we'll eventually see Seattle, and then we see, is it Chicago, Detroit? I forget where they pass through. And so, but they pass through some city. And so,
home base, as they call it, as I call it, is Jackson Hole. At the start of part 2.
yeah, I mean the city where
But
they now I can't remember anyone's
that's
name.
yeah. Where Noel
Kansas City.
is
There we go.
is handed Bella Ellie to take to the Fireflies. Yeah.
Yeah, so like where they meet Henry is what was the over in Kansas City. And so that was what I was trying to remember. And so I would love for us to see more places. I want to see how more areas kind of handled the outbreak and stuff like that. And I think, especially with Bill and Frank, we get the benefit of seeing more older people that had to live through the outbreak versus the current timeline of the story where we're following Ellie's time. And she was born after.
Kids who don't remember or have no context for before, what before looked like.
Right. And so I'm really interested to kind of see more of that. And so we'll see if this actually happens, and if it does, what that's going to actually mean for the
because this was just a pitch.
Yeah.
Which has no guarantee of actually happening. It just means that someone has said, hey, we have the initial ideas for this thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But the fact that someone is thinking about it is potentially a good thing.
Yeah. And so this is the type of stuff that, like, if we're going to hit on these fandoms and do a lot of stuff, like, give us something cool like this, and then while this is like holding over the fans, like, be working on the next big project like we know they are with season 2, which will potentially seasons 2 and 3 will be part 2 of the game. And so this could be a cool, like, intermediary for what's happening that we get between those 2 seasons or something like that.
As its own standalone thing.
Yeah. But give us more. Let's go.
Please.
Yes.
We want it.
Yeah.
All the time.
All the time. So that's what we got for news for this week. As we get ready for the post show, I did tease at the top that we have a big announcement about book club, and surprise, that tease is that book club is coming back this month. Shanine will be back and will be joining us on January 29th, which is the last Monday, not the last Thursday. And so, just as a heads up for everyone, last Monday of the month and this time slot will be our book club. We are reading A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. And so I have finished it already. So
nice.
Because it's only like, it's like barely 4 hours of an audiobook. I think it's like 425 or something like that. Like, it's not even 4.5 hours. So I listened to it at 2 times speed, knocked it out on my commutes, and I already have the second one downloaded. And so that should tell you something about what I'm going to have to say about this for when we do book club. But
and my copy is on the way.
Nice.
Which is exciting. Because it's nice to have books on the way.
Yeah. I'm excited to hear what you think about it. And I'm very excited to have book club back, but I'm very excited to have the opportunity for us to all come together and chat about it. And so, and then that is really what we've got for this week. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up the main part of this episode. We do have 2 little topics for post-show chat, or I guess 3, 2.5, something like that. First off, before we do our wrap up, but just to tease people to come and hang out with us Monday nights, is for our post-show chat, we're going to be taking a look at some of the big films that are being released in 2024 and seeing what we're excited about. Then from Chunk, he sent me a question for us, which he wants to know our worst theme park memories. And then I need to send you the Last of Us thing. So before we get into our post-show, listeners, as always, you can find us on social media as OneGeek411, and join us in the Discord if you want to chat during the week. Shoot us an email at 1stgeek411@gmail.com. Check out that Redbubble store. Watch live on Twitch Monday nights, 6:45 Mountain Time, and find the videos over on our YouTube. Please like the video, leave a comment, and let us know what you're excited about for this upcoming year. And then you can find us at our personal social medias. Mine is Hugh Marwitto.
Mine is I am not prepared with an eye in the prepared.
And it's been a great week.
Eat some popcorn.